And let's go to the beginning. One, two, checker, everybody. How you doing? This is Jerome from B.F.A.M. Cooking. You know, another opportunity to meet some great people that are around the world, and we're here to introduce you to somebody who is a lady in the house, and she's wearing pearls. I think they call her the Chef in Pearls. That is right. Cassandra's here for you. She's going to talk about all her business and what she's doing in the Atlantic area, and soon to be, I'm to understand, maybe some other places. You know, there might be some other opportunities. She's doing pop-ups here and there. At least that's what I heard. The little birdie told me, came in and said, hey, you know, I might be doing some things. Let me talk about it. And that's why we're here today, just to say hello and say how you doing. So, Cassandra, introduce yourself.
Hey Jerome, my name is Cassandra Sinclair and I am known as the Chef in Pearls.
Woohoo! Go girl.
Always got on some pearls, always got on some pearls. So yeah, I'm a private chef here in Atlanta and I do a little bit of everything because I bake as well as cooking and my clients love that they can get an assortment of things out of me. So and I love being able to provide those things.
So Cassandra, you have a long story. Now I found you through a friend of mine. Everybody remembers KJ. He had you up on there, and I saw her. I was like, oh, she seemed like a fun lady to bring on. Maybe I could steal her. So I figured, hey, let me go ahead and let me hit her up, see what's going on. And she hit me up. We did this little Instagram back and forth thing, and then all of a sudden, finally got connected. And she was like, let's do it this week. Okay. So here we are. Today is the day. We're doing Cassandra's interview, and I got to give so much history on you. I'm like, you wanted to go to CIA. I love CIA campus. I went up there and check it out, and you went to another cooking school in New York City. I wasn't sure it's a smaller one. I've been to two other ones in New York City, so I personally
Oh,
have been.
this is a small. This
This is
it, I don't have an associate's degree. I did a program and ran with that. That's what I did. I ran with that. But yeah, CIA. I always tell everybody that is my experience with having fear talk you out of stuff. Fear talked me out of going to CIA. I question my abilities. I question what they would want from me. Am I good enough? I did the whole nine, and so because of that, I didn't go to CIA. But I still pursued culinary either way. But do I think it makes me less of a chef? No. I think the route that I've taken has been my route, and I am happy to have gone it. And I love all the things that I've learned along the way, beyond school, the amazing chefs that I've been able to meet and work with and gain knowledge from. So, yeah, CIA may not have really been my path after all.
and you never know. You might want to end up back there, maybe doing something. You know, there's another chef, Chef Rowe, who's working for Marcus Samuelson, who I'm really interested in bringing on. She is an instructor, or I'm not sure what her status is with them anymore, but I know she was an instructor for them for the TV show. They were doing a cooking competition, and I go
Mhm.
up there well, we had dinner up there because that's one of the places I'd like to go myself. But I would love to spend some time up there and maybe take maybe a boot camp or something. It's not it's like an hour, maybe 3 hours in total from me. Right? It's an hour and a half
Mhm.
to the city, then another hour and a half up. But
Okay.
tell me a little bit about your origin story. I know you did something about your father burning pancakes. I mean, what what burning pancakes? What was it burnt
So,
around the edges and not done in the middle?
yeah, well let me start with this, Jerome, so that we can be so because I want to be your friend, Jerome. And one of the things that I need you to do for me is to call me Cassandra and not
Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Okay, well
Yes,
I'm Cassandra. I'll get it
yes.
out there. We got the out before. So Cassandra, all right?
Yes.
Yes, Cassandra, please. I think I have
So,
a Cassandra at work, which is why I say it that way.
understood. Um, I started cooking at a very early age, at 5. My mom, my mom, it was a big entertainer and entertainment for having guests over constantly. So she was always in the kitchen, and I was always her shadow right behind her. And she was always putting me out of the kitchen. Well, she had been sick, um, and was not at home. She was in the hospital actually, and we had company. My family being Jamaican, we had company in from England, and my dad is making breakfast, and he's making these pancakes, and I'm telling him he's doing it wrong, and he's telling me like a true West Indian man, "Be quiet, you don't know what you're talking about," is what my dad told me. And so after he burnt the third batch, he was just like, "You think you can do it? You do it."
Three? Oh
Yeah,
boy.
because it's pride. It's a pride thing, you know. I'm not going to let this little 5-year-old tell me what I'm doing wrong. And so he said the first thing I did when I pulled my chair up to the stove was to turn the fire down.
That could help.
That helped a great deal. But the funny thing of it is that, I made pancakes. Everybody ate pancakes. And my dad, being the prideful man that he was, may he rest in peace now, uh, ate his pancakes because.
My girl did that. That's why. That's why. So
Yeah,
so wow, that's a great origin story, dude. To stepping up to the plate there and helping the family out and cooking right. So the pancakes, from pancakes to what is that the thing that you would say is the key thing that brought you to the love of making pastries or something like that? Is that what it
no,
was?
I mean, so I have to share this. I would say about 7 years ago, a friend of mine, she had a podcast and she invited myself and my mom to be a part of it. And she had invited her mom. And it was at this time that I learned that my mom's family, like the way my mom used to tell me stories about her growing up was it wasn't what I got at this podcast. So she told me that my grandparents had a bakery and a restaurant in Jamaica. And I was just like, wait, so I didn't even have a choice. It was just kind of, it was in me. That's
In the
what
blood. It's in the blood.
just so. Of all her kids, I'm the one that went that route. So it's just like I said, it's just in me. Even if I tried to fight it, it wouldn't happen. But the thing was, my mom had a Betty Crocker cookbook, and I still have it. The cover is missing. And as a little girl, I used to flip through the pages, and I would talk about when I had a family, what I was going to make or what I wasn't going to make, and you know, cakes and dinners, all the stuff that I just thought that I was going to do it. And it just when I when I graduated high school, I did try college. Had been an honor student all my life, and when I tried college, it didn't work. It just did not work for me. And I we always had this really huge Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, having 60 to 80 people meal through our house was nothing.
Mm.
And we always had tons of food. And so this after doing college for a semester and I came home to um, help with Thanksgiving dinner, I looked at the table and I realized I was like, wait a minute, people get paid to do this. And so I decided that that was what I was going to do because I realized that college was not for me. It was the first time that I actually felt dumb and I just didn't know how to deal with it, didn't know how to cope with it. But when I told my parents that I was going to culinary school, they both stopped talking to me.
Well, isn't that the was it West Indian sort of family sort of structure? Everybody needs a title. You got to be a doctor. You got to be an engineer. You got to be something that has a title in front of it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. My dad, he that day when I told him I was going to culinary school, he was like, "I always said you were going to be a doctor or or a lawyer," and I was like, "Why? I never spoke about any of those things, right?" And as much I always cooked, so I was like, I don't know why that was not a thought process for either one of them. But they're both very oh well, my mom is very accepting of me being a chef. She's very proud of it now. My dad before his passing was very proud of, it took time. It took time for them to accept that, well, this is what she does. I mean,
And
damn, it's like 30 years later. It's
yeah,
like I graduated. Like, how long is it going to take you guys to accept it? But they do, and they're proud of it. So
But I mean, it's still one of those titled professions, professional, right? A chef is a title, and no matter
Well,
what,
I mean,
maybe
let's be realistic about this, okay? Because I talk about this sometimes when I say I went to culinary school and when it wasn't the it thing. It's an it thing now. Being a chef is like what? Well, back then, before the before Food Network and the Cooking Channel, it was you got some TV, PBS. You had shows on PBS, but it didn't have that shine that it has now. And now it's like diamonds and platinum and it's so
and
shiny and
pearls.
everybody. Yeah, well, let's not. Let's
Yes,
So, it's a different time. It had to go through we had to have, oh God, why did I just see his face and I can't remember his name? B.F.A.M. He created this whole,
Emerald, yeah.
Emerald. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Emerald.
it needed the gravitas, is what you're saying. It
Yeah.
didn't have gravitas, and Emerald wasn't out there shining and making things pop and exploding,
Right.
and yeah. I get that. I mean, it's important to anchor a position under, this created something else that became an icon. So I get what you're saying, but
I mean,
100%.
it's still, don't get me wrong, people were still happy to say that they went somewhere and they had an amazing meal, but they still did not have that full, understanding or awareness of what all that takes and how that comes to be. So I think the Food Network brought that to light. Back then they used to do, they used to do a lot more cooking shows, not all these competitions that they do now,
Right.
but and so people got to understand and see what all goes into being a chef and cooking for other folks. And it's a little bit more than just slapping two pieces of bread on and saying, dinner's ready, so yeah.
Yeah. So you got into being a chef. You wanted to understand that you liked the pastry, but now you do this lifestyle private chef stuff. How did that road? How did that happen? I mean, that's another manimal.
Yeah, well, so I wanted to be a pastry chef because, like I said, that Betty Crocker book that my mom had, I was looking at those cakes like, and but the school that I went to, it was a short program, and you just got bits and pieces of everything, and then they were like, "Here, you're done," and I was like, "Okay," and I had decided that I wanted to go back to culinary school to get my pastry degree. Well, I also at the same time decided that I wanted to leave New York because I now know that I hate snow and the cold.
Well, I could have told you hating snow is a thing that New Yorkers do too. In general, we just live that way. You know.
No, I really hate it. Like, and hate's a strong word, and I mean it. I really, really hate the snow. So, I made a list of culinary schools on the East Coast. There was only one other school that I had considered, and it was in Arizona. And I quickly eliminated that because I was like, oh, I can't hop in a car and drive home from Arizona. On the
Mhm.
East Coast, I can hop in a car and drive back home. And I made the list of schools and I started eliminating them based on weather. Rhode Island. Oh, hell no.
Yeah,
I don't want to go
Johnson and
to
Wales is that's what's up in Rhode
Yeah,
Island.
I was
Yeah,
like,
Johnson.
nowhere. And I just kept checking off school. And then I got to a school in Georgia. And I was like, wait a minute, I hear the weather is nice in Georgia. You don't get a lot of cold. Oh, so I decided I was going to go to culinary school there, right? I'm going
Hmm.
to go get my. Okay, once I decided that was a school, did I look any further into it? No, because that would make sense.
Mm.
I packed up and moved to Georgia, never knowing that this school did not offer a pastry program.
You would assume that all schools have ovens also, so why wouldn't they do
Yeah, I
pastry?
mean, I just assumed that, and I came in and I was just like, they had an open house, and I went and I got to speak to admissions, and I was like, so tell me about your pastry program, and they were like,
Pastry program.
pastry, we don't have that. I was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh,
Uh,
came all the way down here and didn't know nothing about it.
and then I said, well, do you have a travel abroad program, something that maybe I can study abroad? And they were like, oh no, that sounds like a good idea. And I was like, "God, what did I do? What did I do?"
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So
So
I did not go to school because obviously they didn't have one, and I was already moved to Georgia, and I was not moving again. So I was like, I'm here, and that's it, and I'm gonna make the best of it, and I did, and I have, and 30 years, like, oh my God, I've been in Georgia almost 30 years.
so wait, I thought your school was in New York, but now you're saying you left New York to come to Georgia.
I know I did the school in New York. I
Okay.
have a I have a certificate of completion in New York. I wanted to get my degree, even if it was just my associate's in pastry art. So I came to Georgia to do
Mm.
that. And I like I said, I didn't do enough research. I just said, "Ooh, it's warm. Let's go there." And that was criteria to go to school there.
So so
Not
what
even knowing.
so what was your first job out of your second school, I guess?
I didn't go to second school. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I did not even enroll. I was just
Oh.
like, you offer what I want. This doesn't make any sense. But I actually, when I first moved to Georgia, I took a job at Publix supermarket as a
Mm.
cake decorator.
Oh, there you go. That's another way in the door. Just get the experience.
Cake decorator. It was interesting. I mean, coming from New York, I'm gonna say this: coming from New York and the mentality there, and then coming to Publix and working there, and the people that I worked with, I was like, I don't even. Okay, refocus, Cassandra, because I was like, otherwise you're gonna end up in a fight.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to not
But
at
it was interesting. I learned a lot of stuff there, and I appreciate my time at Publix. I actually contemplated um, going back there recently just for going back there's sake, and I was just like, yeah, no, you don't really want to do that. That's why. You don't really do that. But yeah, I worked at Publix. But when I left culinary school, I never worked in a restaurant. I always worked for myself. I've always done catering. So when I first left culinary school, I just decided, okay, we're gonna do catering, and I contacted all my friends and family to let them know this is what I'm doing, and everybody was like, game, 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 and I got business coming in that way. My mother had her business; she had a beauty salon, and
that's a good word of mouth right there. Beauty salon.
yes, I
So
thought it was funny. Sorry.
so say I'm sorry. I cut you off on that one.
I was gonna say it's like I had one day I decided that I would make cheesecakes, and I told my mom and my younger sister at the time, and I took orders. They took orders, not telling me they took orders, and then you know I decided I'll do them for the weekend. All my orders were to be for the weekend, and my mom comes to me and is like, "Oh, I got orders," and my sister's like, "I got orders for you too," and I ended up having 30 cheesecakes in 2 days,
Wow.
and I did it.
In a regular what are we calling it?
Home kitchen.
Consumer old
Yeah.
kitchen. Wow, that's a lot of cheesecakes.
I
How,
did it. I did it. And I
ooh,
was very proud of myself. But that was when I knew that I was like, you can do anything you put your mind to. You got this.
okay. The Chef and Pearls is this the brand that you're working on with the cheesecakes, or is that something else?
No, the Chef and Pearls came about 100 years later.
100. At all
At
short
least
amount of time.
100 years later. Back then when I was in New York, my business was Denelli's
Mm-hmm.
middle name. And so but when I decided to do the Chef and Pearls that came about, I was in the midst of a divorce. I needed to do some things. I had lived a life that allowed me to not have to be a chef for a while. And then I was in the midst of a divorce. So I needed to figure out what the hell I was doing. And I had gotten to know a lot of people that were bloggers and so forth. And so I had started a food blog. And while still
What was that
cooking,
called? What was that called? The
the
food
chef,
blog.
the chef and pearls.
Chef and Pearls. Okay, so now
That's how
now
the chef and pearls came
now
to be. Came to be born. Yeah.
okay, so now I'm getting where Chef and Pearls comes from. So you wanted to style it up, and you wanted to write about some stuff. What was your main premise on writing? What was your POV on that one? Your
So the Chef and Pearls was a blog that encompassed food and fashion, because I'm a fashion girl. I love clothes, I love jewelry. And so how the name came about was I used to wear a lot of heels, and I thought about, oh, I could be the chef in heels. And I was like, who the hell cooks in heels? You're crazy.
Mhm.
And so then I started to think about more. And as a young lady, as a little girl, my mom bought me my first strand of pearls, and couldn't have told me anything. You what? I was like, pearls? My mom gave me pearls. And so I've always loved pearls, and that's how that came to be. I was just like, oh, you'll just be the chef in pearls. Because I always gravitated towards pearls, and naturally so. It just made sense.
Okay, the
And
girly girl of chefs with pearls, right? I get that. I get that. So there's another friend of mine that I have talked with. He's basically a rapper and a sommelier. He came through it
yeah.
as sort of a combining those two things together. So that's the Wolf of Wine, right? Jamie Stone. Make sure I got this right because I always messes him up, and I want to call him Jamie, and I want to make sure that's I'll have to
The right James.
because I did it during my interview with him, and I was like because my name is so close to James, and anyway, Wolf of Wine, he combined those two styles, and I had mentioned to JJ, Chef JJ, that he was in the area and that he should get with him because he was talking about doing an event together with a bunch of different people. And now you're doing fashion and food. That's a new combination to hear that's out there. The mix of things. Did it play well for your audience? I mean, did you feel like you lasted up enough people that were standing?
I so I think, and that's probably why I don't have a food blog now. I I was more concerned. I don't know. I don't think that I did blogs the way blogs are done now. I don't think I was focused on what I needed to be focused on. Like, everybody was like numbers and this and that. And I was like, no, let's have fun. Let's have fun. And
Yeah.
so I got to do a lot of great things and meet a lot of wonderful people. But as far as being a blogger, no, I'm more of a chef.
Okay. Well,
So
we all got our onesie twosies, and there's a percentage of all these combinations, conversations that we have that are combinations of multiple things. So I'm just curious as to how it played out. So back to Chef and Pearls. You wrote some stuff. What was one key topic that you wanted to cover that was combining food and fashion, or is it the fashion of food that you really want to talk
it's
about?
the fashion of it's the fashion of food. I did talk about fashion itself, but through different events and how I always wanted to show people that you didn't have plating, I guess. You didn't have to make it boring. You didn't have to make it look like, you know, it's just chicken on a plate. There's fashion in food. The way you pair spices to your other ingredients and everything. It's just it's a whole play. And so, yeah, it was just a matter of trying to just share food and with people and have them understand and just be able to participate in different events and bring that to light to them and show them the food within that, because I don't care what you're doing, food is always involved. If I went to a fashion show, I'm sure, especially because I'm going to go VIP. Oh, there's going to be some nosh for everybody, some drinks or something on the side. So this food is going to be everywhere. So it's always making sure that it's highlighted and shown that, no matter what you do, you'll find
So I really like to play on the colors of food on the plate. So I like to
it.
make I think of things, at least because I'm an artist personally. I've always been an artist. I like to paint. I like to draw. I like to sculpt. I was a photographer for nearly 20 years, right? And that's one of the things that just grew me into till I got bored and needed to step away from that. But when I look at food on a plate, I try and say okay, I'm going to do a carrot puree here, so that no matter which carrot you're using, it always comes out this ultra nuclear yellow. If I want to do something that's green, I want to put something that's on there. I'm doing a basil oil or something that is required to make that ridiculous green color that you see, the uber green, just to make the palette a little bit different. And when you see it, it hits your eyes and then hits your belly Perfect.
Mm.
You know, that what you're talking about? Just the colors of the plate and
I think it's a combination of everything. Um, Again, we got we eat with our eyes first, so,
mhm,
so of course you want to plate pretty. You want to talk from just not just how you've plated, but what you've plated it on, the different shapes, the different colors of vessels that you could use, all those different things people tend to not think about.
mhm.
I have a friend who's a chef, and God bless her, I love her to death, but some days I want to strangle her. The time the time that I want to take to make things look pretty, she's like, they're just gonna eat it. Yeah, they got to get to the point where they want to. They want to see it and be like, oh, that looks interesting. Let me want to eat that. You're just like, give it to them, whatever, they'll eat it. So
So,
we always fuss about things like that. So
let's talk about a little bit of your dishes and seeing that we're talking about the plates and stuff like that. You have something called the Bananas Almighty. What is that?
oh, the BAM. Okay, so I I make I told you I made those cheesecakes all those years ago, and I have perfected my cheesecake.
Okay.
I don't What anybody says, I make a bomb cheesecake. So I've gone through where I made several different flavor types of cheesecake, and the BAM, the Bananas Almighty, is a bananas Foster's cheesecake.
Mm-hmm. So
Yes,
does it have liquor in it that you burn off or mm, yes,
yes.
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 Mm,
Like I can sit here and tell you all the kinds of cheesecakes I make. Like I have one called the Flight Attendant,
okay.
which is based on a Biscoff cookie crust.
Mm,
It's a marble Biscoff cookie cheesecake where I make a Biscoff butter cream to go to pipe on the top of it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I,
yeah.
I
They like that. Yeah, so
so
I just try to do present things a little bit differently than everybody else would.
So I'm also to understand you do chocolate chip cookies. As you know, my last name is Amos, so famous Amos and chocolate chip cookies is pretty much a thing. So I don't do chocolate chip cookies myself, but I
Oh,
am always curious about people's chocolate chips. Could you describe what that cookie is? Give me a little bit of that writer's knowledge and send it out
so
to me
I have
creatively.
chocolate chip cookies that I love.
Okay.
Okay, one that's a 2-day process.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Levain chocolate chip cookies. It's thick. It's good. And then I have one that's not as thick that I love. And for me, what makes me like my sweets is that it's not overly sweet. A lot of people tend to think that in order for you to have a really good dessert or something, it has to be uber sweet, and I don't think that it has to be. So yeah, I put chocolate chips in it, but I'm not gonna put a pound of chocolate chips in. It's just, I think that takes away. I need you to be able to enjoy all of it, the cookie, the dough, everything. I want you to get the butter in there. I want you to, oh, there's a little crisp on the edge. I want the soft. I want all of that. I want you to have all that contrast in there,
Yeah.
and I want you to enjoy that. Yeah.
So that's one idea I just have. I'm stealing from somebody. It says so everything is good better with butter. So I want to make a shirt that says that everything everything is better with
Yes,
butter. So
it
talk.
is.
It is right. Yeah. So I want to talk about your service lines. You say you do private chefing.
Mhm.
You have a lot of different opportunities for people to partake of. Can you give me like a little synopsis as to what it is you're offering people?
So, hiring me, you want me? Well, I used to do a lot of family style meal preps. I used to come in and at the beginning of the week, and I would cook so that busy moms, busy dads, and kids they always knew what they were going to have. I've stepped away from doing that because it's a lot. And now I focus a lot more on private dinners, um, what I call boutique style catering. No more than 30, 50 if I really like you. Um, and I offer them the opportunity I do not have standard menus. We have an opportunity to sit down and create. What is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're interested in? Which also gives me an opportunity. If it's something that I don't know, I'm going to spend time researching. testing, seeing how I can make it awesome. And yes, I can create that for your menu. And we go from there. Um, I have standard, right now, I have a client that quote unquote loaned me out last year for Thanksgiving to her best friend.
Loans you out? Oh,
Loaned me out. So she's like,
jeez.
okay, you can have her this year for Thanksgiving, but you can't have her next year.
Wow.
So it's standing there expecting me to do Thanksgiving for them, and that's awesome. I
Yeah.
like that. I like, my people think highly enough of me to say, hey, this is somebody that you want to use and want to have in your back pocket. So
Yes, most definitely. That always sounds it's also that you're on demand, that you're there to comfort them
yeah,
during those family occasions. You know, the
to
I'm
make
not a
them awesome.
to make them something awesome, something that they'll remember every year.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
Right. So would you say that so in your cheesecake, I guess it's a cheesecake, that would be your favorite dessert to make for a family. I see that you have some type of cocoa or something is that you're doing some custom cocoa setups.
Oh, so right now I am in Rockdale County. I live in Rockdale County in Georgia, and they just started a farmers market.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a small market, but I'm participating in the market, and so I think along the lines of, okay, I have to make all these labels and I have to do all these things. I need to keep things clean and make it, make sense without 9,450 ingredients. So I decided that I would do brownies and blondies for the market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Last week, so not Mother's Day, Sunday before was my first time in the market, and it was well received. I did these wonderful. I believe they're wonderful. Well, the sales say they were wonderful. I make an awesome brownie, and then which we call cocoa brown
Mm-hmm.
is our OG, and then with the cocoa brown, I made a blondie that we've named Light Bright. That's dedicated to all my fair skinned cousins and sisters. And then I made with that I made the blondie. I turned it into a peanut butter blondie
Mm.
with chocolate chips going through,
Mm-hmm.
and we named her Dirty Blonde.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we have one that's called a Yin and Yang. That's half peanut butter, half peanut butter, half blondie.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to both worlds. And then our last one was, what was our last one? Oh, we do turtle turtle. So
Turtles.
you get our old school brownie with caramel and pecans on top.
Do you do anything with Mexican chocolate, like it's got like chocolate and like a heat to it?
Make a hot chocolate like that. Please, like Jerome, if I tell you all the things that I do, first of all, you'll say, "Oh yeah, your people are Jamaican," because I make hot chocolates. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
how I started making hot chocolates was I don't like hot chocolate. So
That's
anytime there's something I don't like, I always go, well, maybe if I make it, I might like it. No, I still don't
yeah,
like it.
yeah,
But then
yeah. So
I make, I make it and I make different flavors and offer different things. So yeah, I make a hot.
so I try and make things that I don't like either, but usually I can't stomach it. So one of my biggest pet peeves is rice pudding. My wife loves it, and her mother loves it, but I really can't even stand to look at it. Rice
So
pudding.
I eat rice pudding. I haven't eaten it in a long time, but the way I like it, it used to be my comfort food. Like if life was just giving me the whatevers, I like my rice pudding hot.
Mm-hmm. Hot rice
So what
pudding.
I
Okay.
yeah, so or warm, it doesn't have to be piping hot, but warm. What I would do is I make the rice pudding
Mm-hmm.
and then put bits of dark chocolate through it, so I'd stir it through so that when I spoon, I get a little bit of rice, a little bit of chocolate, and I'd be like, "Oh, life is great. I don't care what's going on. World is blowing up. Yeah, yeah, no, this is good." So yeah, but I haven't made that in a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of my other little pet peeves was I really was not a cheesecake person. I really just it's the word cheesecake. so, so little tiny cheese and cake just it doesn't sit with
What
me.
you think? What are you thinking? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are you thinking? Like,
It's because I love macaroni
American?
and cheese so much that I can't imagine it being sweet. So that's when I see cheese and cake, it comes to me as a
That's what comes.
yeah. It's just not. It's I don't know what it is that's causing all types of agita in my stomach. But rice pudding reminds me of maggots. I'm sorry. That's what it reminds me of, and it's every time I see it, it runs through my brain that it's
We need to retrain your brain, but
what
it's okay because I said we need to retrain your brain, but that's okay because I still don't like beets. I don't care who makes it. I don't care how you make
really
it. Listen, I love to hear when people go, beets, oh, they're just earthy. I said, that's a polite way of saying it tastes like dirt. That's what it tastes like to me. Dirt.
dirt. Okay.
Dirt.
Yeah,
That's
I don't mind beets. They don't bother me. I think it's because a lot of people pickle them, and I've cooked them in sous vide. When you sous vide them, it doesn't. Well, it tastes like dirt, but or very earthy. I'm not even sure what else you would call it. I mean, if you say
it tastes like dirt. Just own it, Jerome.
it tastes like dirt, but I usually pair it with something that has a good flavor, like blue cheese or something that allows it to not just be dirt. But I guess in a way, it's usually like a beet salad or something. So I
No,
can
that is
no.
punishment. You want to punish me? Give me beets to eat because I think that it takes me back to being in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and back then we used to have lunch as like family style.
Mm-hmm.
At least once a week we would have beets, and of course it was canned beets, so that made
Oh,
it even
that's not a
worse. Mm.
wow.
And I would always try to get by with like taking half of a slice, and the teacher would be like, "No, no, 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 no. We know it's you, Cassandra. This is your other half of your slice. You have to eat it." And I'd be like, "Ah."
Oh no, not to the
So and
beets.
still to this day, and I eat. I think I eat every vegetable there is. You cannot convince me.
Okay. So what
I'll
what's
try.
going so what's going on with you, KJ? This you guys are doing talking on the weekends. What else is happening?
So
Is
AJ has his show on Substack. I missed the last one because I was doing an event for a friend that he actually I started following KJ when he started his blog when he started well not his blog he started doing Instagram, and then I got an opportunity to meet him when I was working on a event for chefs, and that's when I got to meet him. I kept pushing. I wanted him to be a part of it. I kept pushing my team like we need to make KJ a part, and so I got to meet him, and just he's always been on my radar because I just think he does awesome things, and he's so down to earth. You know,
right.
he is who he is. I don't think that he puts on. Even when I met him, I never got the impression that he's being anybody else but himself. So it's good people, but that show that he does, please, I can't remember the name of it off the
Power
top of my
power. Why am I drawing a blank here? Um, power. Oh, I know I have it on my site too. So, but this power of something. Power. I don't, so originally I had saw him on. He was just before he got his actual James Beard Award, and he was
Mhm.
doing a TV show. It's similar to when I found Chef JJ on something. So I used to work at NBC, and I was going to, and because I used to work there, I was going to pick up a friend at NBC, and I walked
Mhm.
by Chef JJ's restaurant at 30 Rock, and there he was sitting there, and I was like, no, I'm not going to bother this guy because, young podcaster. Well, I can't say I'm really that young, but I walked by him and I was like, a small podcaster. Why am I going to bother this guy who's got a TV show? you know, and his book hadn't come out yet officially. But I had bought the Rice book and I had bought his other book from when he was up in Harlem. And I forgot what the name of that was. Him and the singer guy, the opera guy. Also, somebody I want to interview, but I can't remember his name.
Right, I can't help you because I don't know.
Yeah. So JJ's origin. He went through a CIA, and then he was working at one of the soul food restaurants, not Sylvia's. It's the other one that's like around the corner from Sylvia's, and I have it across
Mm-hmm.
the room. I can't run and go get it at the moment. So they collaborated, and he was working there for a long time and did his dishes. Then he started his, his fast casual restaurant, which is a rice based menu. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've seen that, but then he had the TV show, right? He has the TV show. He did like 5 seasons of that, and he started writing his cookbook on rice and was putting it out. That's when I caught up to him. So I had watched like
Okay.
all of his videos on where he brings in podcasters and different influencers on
Mm-hmm.
Tastemade, I think it is. That's also where I found the Wolf of Wine, right? He was on Tastemade also. And then
Okay.
I saw KJ had another TV show, and Bite the Power.
Bite the power. Yes,
But
that's bite the power.
there, I had a long way to get there. Long.
You got there, though, but you got there.
I was like, yeah, I finally got there. So this is my brain after COVID. I mean, it's like so weird, you know.
I can't blame COVID. I have to blame it on. I'm a lady of a certain age, and so I have to blame it on things like perimenopause. Wait, hold on.
Well,
That's where my brain fog comes from.
yeah,
So,
mine definitely comes from COVID though. So I literally forgot my grandmother's name along with taste and all this other stuff that I could not remember. I was like, really, it's really weird. And now it's sort of like, oh, you can get there. You just have to draw like a weird line around it until it finally hits it.
yeah, that's.
Yeah. So
You had COVID? How many times did you catch COVID?
I had COVID twice.
I had COVID twice too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was so thankful that I never lost my taste buds. I would have been like, God, you really hate me if you let me lose my taste buds.
Well, yeah, that's that was just before I just had left NBC, right? And I was working from home. My wife brought it home to me from her job working at the schools. So all the people used to go on vacations and pretend like they're being COVID safe, and they're going to wherever they were going, some tropical island, so they don't have to wear their mask. So she brought it home to me. I'm in the house. It's just me and her. That's all we're doing. It's me and her, me and her, me and her. And then I got COVID. I said, you literally brought it home to me. And I was in,
She said,
yeah.
she said, "Hey, I got something for you, babe."
And it didn't affect her really at all. But me, I had to walk around the house with an oxygen tank, and it was bad. I mean, I'm glad I survived, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was not a nice trip. Visiting the hospital and breathing issues.
Oh, okay. So I need to just be quiet about me and COVID.
I assume it was less than that. The second
It
time.
was less. It felt like I was hit by a Mack truck. It did, but I didn't end up in the hospital. God bless. But
Yeah, 3-month rehab. 3-month rehab. It was like, it was really. I was in I was in the bad spot because I was in a room. It was the peak of COVID, and I was in a room that was meant for 2 people. They had 4 people in there. People were not doing well, and then they kicked us off the emergency floor and put me in another hospital. They brought me to another hospital to stay, and then the rehab at home, which was 3 months. Basically, the lady come and check up on me, and the oxygen machine that I had to just use just to get up and down the stairs. It was bad. So losing my taste buds wasn't that bad. Just,
No, well, blessings that you're here and that
Yeah.
you survived COVID.
Yeah.
And I will complain about COVID ever again. Okay, great.
But yeah, it was scary to lose my taste bud, but that was the indication that said to me, I have COVID. You had I had like every symptom you could possibly have. The headache, all the other issues, and
Yes.
yeah, not a good thing. And I'll stand on that forever. But on to the good stuff. So yeah, meeting KJ, meeting JJ, meeting yourself. This has been a through line. I'm to understand you got a network of girlfriends that you hook up with every so often. What is this Chef Thomas? What's going on with Chef Thomas?
No, I don't know Chef Thomas.
What is what? No Chef Thomas? Is this the one thing that is pulled from hallucinogenics on
Oh, but I did tell you that I'm a chef of a certain age, right? So I
Yeah.
might I mean, maybe there is a Chef Thomas, and I just can't recall who Chef
All right.
Thomas
Well,
is.
maybe I don't know. Look like I got it all on my documentation here. What? There's no Chef Thomas. So there's obvious connection, friends. All right. Well, hey, every so often
I mean,
there's
there's a chef, Leslie Gordon, and every so often we have gatherings with male and female chefs at her place. The most recent one we had was last year during the Christmas, where we had a chef's potluck. All the chefs brought something, and we had a awesome time. It was great
so
for
the
us to just get together and cook for each other in that instance. Yeah.
so the quarterly ladies luncheons that's not a thing with you for real?
Oh, that was okay. So the quarterly luncheon was me transitioning back to cooking because there was a time in my life when I had actually stopped cooking.
Yes, and I you've already touched on it, and I didn't want to go deep into that end of the pool because it seemed like it was dark in that deep end of the pool. So
It was very dark in that deep end of the pool. It
right,
was
right. So I wasn't touching that. I thought that
no, I don't have no problems talking about it now. I've learned introspection. I've learned a lot of stuff. I had to go through what I went through to be who I am now, right? So
yes.
that time in my life when I stopped cooking, like my kids, I have three children who are adults now.
Hmm.
At the time, my kids we'd be in the supermarket and they would be like, "Can we have Chef Boyardee?" I'd be like, "No, you can't have that stuff." Oh, when I hit that depression, and they were like, "Chef Boyardee, you can get whatever you want, whatever
Okay.
you want." I
Whatever you
mean, I
want,
struggled.
baby. Whatever you want,
Yeah, I
baby.
struggled. Like I would do things like make instant mashed potatoes, and I tell everybody the hardest thing in the world is to make instant mashed potatoes taste good. You spend more time working on that than just if you had bought some potatoes and mashed them.
Yes. Yeah. one
But
hundred
I was,
percent.
like I said, I was in a bad headspace, and so when I started the ladies' luncheon, it started actually on a Mother's Day weekend, and I was cooking for my mom, her girlfriend, and my sister-in-laws. And the rule was, because they're all West Indian, the rule was, hey, you cannot question what I'm going to make. You cannot say you're not going to eat it because you
Mm.
have to at least taste it. And you just have to come and have an open mind. And what was supposed to be like a 3 hour afternoon, they didn't leave my house till like midnight.
Well, that's
Everybody was like, oh my God, this was so good. The conversation flowed. Everybody was loving on each other. The food was good, from my understanding, because they all ate and took plates home with them. And that was the birth of the ladies' quarterly lunch. Um, and I say this all the time is that was God getting me back into cooking.
yes. What's the fastest you could say that you could make mashed potatoes? Now that you brought that up.
What the fastest I can make it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, because
Uh,
besides the flakes, using the flakes, what's the
I'm not
fastest?
using the flakes. I'm not going to use the flakes. I'm going to peel some potatoes and I'm going to boil them. Well, no, I'm going to use some Yukon Golds, wash them, scrub them clean, cut them into quarters at least, and boil them because I'm going to keep the skins on. I'm not going to peel them. That's how we're going to get past that. And since they're thin enough, they're going to be tasty and there's good enough fiber in there. And then we're going to add some butter and some heavy cream because heavy cream makes everything better along with butter. And then we're gonna doctor some seasonings in there. Gotta have a little bit of garlic, got salt, black pepper, and some parm just to nice it up. And then sometimes I change it up depending on what's going on with the meal. But
So
that's it.
so what would you say? 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
30 minutes if I'm being extra. 20 minutes if I cut them the right way.
Mm,
It's all about getting it boiled.
I think I can do it in 15.
You know what? If you want to challenge me, we could do this now. Cause
So no, the reason why is I shortcut it. I figured there's a way that I do it now that I find to be the easiest way to get mashed potatoes done. Besides, the right pick of potato,
mhm.
I do it. My wife has a thing she got from her mother. It's a microwave like pocket that you can stick potatoes in, and I feel the idea of making mashed potatoes is you're trying to remove the water to make them done, right? So I throw it in the microwave for exactly 9 minutes. That cooks the potato in the skin. You don't then all you have to do is just cut it in half so it'll fit into a ricer, Right. And you don't even have to skin them. Cut it in half, fits into a ricer, pop it into the ricer, and boop, pops right out.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so if I'm going to be honest with you,
Yeah.
and I have been so far, I hate the microwave.
But
Okay, you're right.
it's not really cooking. But it's the nice thing about it is that it can remove that 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 liquid.
Yeah, I get it. I do.
It doesn't change the texture at all. It just
I
cooks
know,
the.
because I mean, push comes to shove, I will throw a potato in the microwave. Matter of fact, I was the one that taught one of my girlfriends. I was like, there's a whole button on the microwave that says potato. She was like, what the hell? And then she went and looked and was like, oh my god, there really is. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, sweetheart, there's a whole button on there that says potato. So I mean, but my preference is I
But you're adding when you boil the potato in water, you're obviously adding water, and you want to take the water
well,
out.
okay, but here's the thing, right? The real way to do it is to steam it. So I try not to put a lot of water in there. Make sure it's covered and start off cold, bring it up, and just go from there and let it steam. Good enough, mash it up and go from there. That's the honest way. I
Right.
mean,
Right, but that's the reason why it works so well in the microwave. Is because that's what it is doing.
but it's still gonna make me want to, and I'm still gonna be like, I hate the microwave.
It's is it because of you feel like it's radiating it or something? Is that what it is?
It's a combination of a lot of things, but let's just leave it on. It reminds me of my ex-husband. Moving right
Oh,
along.
okay. All right. Yeah, there you go. So no matter what, like I said, as it's in there, and you could put the other ingredients, the heavy cream, the butter, the flavoring
Mm.
of whatever else you want in the pot, and warm it at the same time. By the time it comes out, you can mix it, mash it. And that's why I figured you definitely do it in 15 minutes. In fact, I have done it in 15 minutes in a large quantity for a family gathering. So it really worked, and because you normally want to save the potatoes to last because you want them to be hot on the table, right? So
Right.
right. So that's and the mashing part is that really what makes it great, and you can just pour some on until you get it to the right consistency. You dropping them off at the table, and they're hot. It's not even warm; they're hot. You know, so
I hear you.
yeah.
I hear you.
So
I hear
yeah, that's all I was saying. So anyway, what are you doing next for Lady? Where do we see the future
The
of Lady
ladies' lunch.
Unicorn?
So no, I tell everybody the ladies' lunch no longer exists because um, it was my time to get me back into cooking. It was
Yes,
what would happen to get me back into cooking. And once I was back into cooking, it had to end. I didn't even like the way it ended made me
sad.
we won't talk about very but it ended, it had to end, and so that was then, this is now, and now what I'm working on is I told you that they can find me at the Rockdale Farmers Market now. They can always I'm working with a friend of mine to put together an event, bring to life the hang suite, which is not going to happen until 2027 because we want it to be the right kind of event. It's
Okay,
the hang suite is right now the concept is it's a place where we can we as black and brown people can come and have an elevated space to hang out and have a good time and enjoy ourselves.
so
And
so is this going to be your first like official space for you to people to do business in, or
no, it will not be. It will. It's a concept that will travel between spaces. It's not going to be a set space. I do not want to own.
a
The
restaurant?
reason I don't own a restaurant now is because my life doesn't allow me to be.
So
I
anchored.
feel as rigid as a restaurant requires you to be. Because I am that client that, if I'm coming to your restaurant and you say it opens at 9 o'clock and I get there at 9:10, 9:10, at, at 9:10 and it's not open, I'm like, well, why is it not open? My life didn't always and still doesn't always allow me to be that rigid because at one point my dad, when he was alive, he lived in North Carolina, and I would have to drive back and forth between Georgia and North Carolina on a regular.
Hmm.
Um, I really my life is I have my life is just so I have to make it work the best way I can work. So having a set place just is not in my future, has not been in my future. Right now, I know I was talking to you about considering leaving Atlanta because maybe my time is up here. Maybe it is. Um, my sons would love for me to come to Colorado, but again, they have snow. Uh, so it's not appealing to me. But from a food standpoint, it is because they don't have the flavor. I haven't come across the just myself or my son who I have a son that's also in food, and it hasn't has nothing's ever been like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's been some stuff that's like, okay, this is good. You're not gonna die. You can eat off of that. Uh, but I'm thinking that it might be time for me to move on. I've given Georgia
30 years.
30 years. Yeah, 30 years. God, yeah, no, it's 30. Oh, Jesus. I thought about how old my son is. Anyway, so I've been here a minute.
So,
I've been here.
so, so let me understand it. Let me make sure I'm correct. And you're doing a sort of a thought process around a pop up, maybe idea, this occasional thing that shows up here, shows up there. Is that
Mhm.
what how it's
Yeah,
shaping out to be? Okay,
yes.
all right. So,
It'll be something. It'll be something that companies could hire me out to create for them specifically. If they wanted and needed and had that desire to create something for their employees, is something that's what we're working on. So.
corporate one-off event sort of stuff. I get that. I get that. Is
Mhm.
there anything that you haven't told me that you want to make sure people know that you're working on, or are you thinking because you're a writer and you had that fashion idea? Were you thinking about doing a book or something? Is there anything like that, or maybe
I
even
mean, people have talked to me about maybe doing a cookbook, but I haven't. I've thought about it. I played with it, and then I'd be like, I don't know. It's something that's there. I have a lot of bits and pieces. I tell everybody, my people being Jamaican, yes, having 9,000 jobs
jobs?
is so. I'm always like, for instance, I didn't even tell you that I have a spice line that I was working on.
Oh no, you didn't. So what's going on with that?
So I make curry powder, of course, Jamaican roots. I have a some things are just given, right?
Yeah.
But no, the reason why I made the curry powder was because another chef had gifted me curry, and I told him I was like, I wish it was a little bit darker. And when he told me what he did to create this curry powder, I was just like, so you didn't actually make this.
Oh,
So it made me now being who I am. I was like, okay, so I got to make this curry powder, and I went and I did my research and I found out how, and I worked and I R&D'd until I got what I wanted, and now I love my curry powder. You can't tell me.
so do you
Any
have a blackening season also?
Nope, not doing. I'm only going to do three blends. I'm
Okay.
doing a curry, a jerk, of course. I'm doing a jerk powder because every every dry jerk that I've ever had was very allspice forward, and I hate that.
Okay.
And I know that it's a cheaper spice, so it being, I think they use it as like a filler to
Mm.
just bulk it up, and I was just like, I hate that. So I make one that is not
Okay.
uh, spice forward, and then I have a all-purpose seasoning that is one that's coarse and one that's fine ground. That that's it. And I named them. I don't ask me the names right now because they're named after members, and yeah,
Okay.
they have. But I can't think of the names right now. But yeah.
So pop up some spice line. Thought about a book, but not certain if you wanted to do that. That's still on the line. Uh,
hmm
yeah.
I want everybody to, of course, visit my website because I have T-shirts that are based on historical Black culinary uh, icons or should be icons. We have a T-shirt dedicated to Black female chefs, combination of Black and male and female chefs on one T-shirt. We have one that's dedicated to, like, of course, now my brain is just like, haha, I'm gonna make you look like a fool. Uh,
Boo boo the fool. Okay.
yeah, because I'm trying to think of all the people that are on the T-shirts that I have. But if you know someone that's into food or into food history or just want a really cool T-shirt, I have those on my website as well. Let's see.
Yes, we should
What else?
support.
It's like, yeah. So and you can get it T-shirts. You can get aprons as well. What else do I want to talk about?
Aprons.
But
What's the deal with the aprons?
well, you can get a Chef and Pearl's apron, or you can get the apron with any one of the designs that are on the website now.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
wait. So while I'm talking about it, let me just shout out my son, Akeem. Thank you for creating those designs for me. Okay.
So you got a son that's into the designs. You got a son that's into food.
Yeah,
the third child that you have?
my daughter.
Daughter. Okay.
According to her, she's busy raising me, so
Oh,
that's her
okay.
job.
All right. we all got to have our purpose. If raising your mother is a thing, you do you.
And she told me this past weekend that I am a naughty adult. I don't behave.
Naughty adult.
Yeah, I don't listen. I don't, you want to always do what you want to do. You don't listen when I tell you. And I was like, this is interesting. This delusional game that you play. But okay, if you feel like you're raising me, knock yourself out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like that little girl that says these kids. I don't. You don't know. I tell you, these kids.
She's about to start her master's program, so
And
yeah. And she wants to do social services. So in
social services. Okay.
yes, wait a minute, no, specifically, she wants to be a social worker. Thank you.
Yes.
See, connection. Bring it
I
back.
I
She wants to be
understand.
because she has her degree in psychology. Please don't make. I could be lying to you about things right now.
So you are the AI of the future. You're lying to me. You're hallucinating.
I'm
Yeah.
not trying to. I'm not. It's just my brain is just doing what it wants to do sometimes, and that's it.
All
But
right.
yeah,
All right. So let me wrap this. Go ahead and wrap this up and make sure I got this right. Wait. Cassandra, Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Yes, Cassandra. So yes, it's been a pleasure again, and it really thank you very much for coming to hang out with me and talk about what you're doing. I really love the opportunity that you've given me, to share some of what you're building out there. And I can't wait to hear more about these pop ups. I hope you at least if you're doing one in Colorado, you got to come back to New York and say hello. Do that thing.
What's the sad thing?
Come in the summer.
I haven't been home in a long time.
In the summer, come in the summer. I'm not asking you to come in the snow. I'm asking you to come
I did
some.
not come. Oh, that never happened. Uh, but yeah, I do need to come home. I do need to come home.
Yeah,
Anyway, sorry. I'm wrapping
yes.
up your show.
It's hey, it's a thing. All I want to do is just make sure you visit, and I know it when you're coming, so I can tell everybody she's coming. You got to come check her out and see what she's got going on. But
Yeah,
is
I
is
didn't
there
make that.
is there anyone else that you think that we should talk to next?
There, I think I was trying to tell you about Dr. Lenny Sorensen.
Love to talk to her.
I see someone that I need to reach out to and see if she'd be interested in. I did mention, and I said KJ knows him too. Ed Porter.
Mm-hmm.
He used to um, I think I was telling you that Marcus Samuelson was his mentor.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an interesting background as well. He went to CIA. He did some really good stuff. But don't tell him I said this. I don't want to make his head big or anything like that. But he aight people.
He
And
all right, people.
he's from New York. He's from the Bronx, so I feel a kind of ways about him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he's some Chef Leslie Gordon. She's an awesome chef. She used to teach culinary here in Atlanta in the public school system. She does pop-ups and she does a lot of wonderful things. She's an interesting chick as well. I mean, I can sit here and name a lot of people, even in the beverage end of it, that I used to do things with. Tandy, she works. We used to have a show actually on IG.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Tandy Tuesdays. She make cocktails. I make
A
food.
mess.
Food. I was her co-host. That was awesome. She's somebody interesting as well. Her background and how she got into doing mixology and the things that she's done. like I said, I can see hinges if I stay here long enough, my brain will bring up
More
tons
and more
and
people. Yeah, well,
yeah.
hey, if there's anybody you think I should, don't just hit me up. I really am trying to focus on people of color. I hope you like the presentation that I put together on my site. Being a software developer by trade, it gives me the ability to do a lot of different things. So this
Okay.
this BFAM cooking new site is up and running pretty well, I think. And I'm trying to make sure that I spotlight as many people of color, people in the military, people in the food space that are just trying to
Mhm.
share and be exposed to the world. That's why I've made that center page that actually is a running list of people who I think people should know, and just
Okay.
highlight them. That's the
I thought
whole.
it's somebody else. Okay, because my brain is like that. Shalane and Daniel and Shalane Brown, they own Gilly's Brew Bar
Hmm.
here in Atlanta. They also own Woodstone Bakery
Hmm.
and also have uh Apple Butter Bakery headquarters. And she's a wonderful chef, a pastry chef. She's done Food Network multiple times as
Hmm.
well. She's got an interesting story. I was blessed to be able to interview her as well. Um, uh, they have a really great story. You know how her bakery that's in Fayetteville is named after the street she grew up on with her family. You know, all her baking comes about because her mom used to bake, and so she got into that, and she does these amazing cakes, and she's done sculptures of people and all
Mm.
kinds of things. She's very talented, and her husband runs Gilly's Brew Bar, which is a coffee shop, um, and he does these amazing drinks that are just like, I mean, he made one. I don't like marshmallows. Something else I've made, but I don't like.
I,
Um,
I
he
love
made
marshmallows. I make them too myself.
he he made a sweet potato coffee,
Hmm.
and like it's served with um, they char the marshmallow in front of you, and I was just like, oh wow, if only I like marshmallow. But I like the coffee. You know,
Hmm.
it was like it had the sweet potato in it, and
Hmm.
it was really good. So they do some really creative things. So somebody else that you could reach out to.
Yeah, I did a chocolate creme brulee with homemade marshmallow encrusted with graham crackers and toasted that and served that on top. So that's one thing I did. I try and pull it out. But I was just thinking there was another gentleman I had interviewed way back, James London. He's in Atlanta too. I don't know. Have you heard of this guy? He's a like a foodie that goes and show. He doesn't cook, or at least he didn't say he cooked, but he like interviews people and he goes and talks
No,
about
I
food and
don't.
stuff. He's in Atlanta in your space, so maybe I can connect you two together. That would be good.
Okay.
The whole idea in my mind is that we have to make all these different connections, and at some point, I want to be able to get a panel of people who are in the food space and just talk about how it is being a person of color trying to make it in this world, of culinary. I know we can do it online, and that's why I use this app that gives us the ability to do that. And then I would love to. I'm so poor now. It's just crazy to get stuff done. But I'd love to show up and spin up an event where we can have a panel of people talking about
That'd be awesome. I mean, I'd love to do something like that
yeah.
because I like to learn from other people.
Yeah,
So
learn
yeah.
learn from others, share and network. That's the most important thing. And I really think getting your food out there to get it in front of people helps you to do what's really important. Which is make a living and grow as a chef and otherwise. So, but anyway, we're almost done. Let's call it a day. It's been a pleasure again, and thank you very much for coming and hanging out with me. And
That's not a problem. I enjoyed myself.
hit me with your Insta and socials so we can get that the people.
Okay, so I am the chef in pearls everywhere. I am consistent, okay? Because I'm old. It's too much to keep track of 10 different things, okay? So it's the chef
Chef
in
in.
pearls with an S, not a Z,
Mhm.
because I'm old school. And that's my website. That's IG. That's Twitter. Well, I don't do Twitter, but I do have it. I
Yeah,
am there,
me
but I
too.
haven't been on there since it became, what is that, X?
Yeah,
I'm on
since it ever got,
Threads.
yeah, Thread. Are you doing
I'm
fan
on.
base? Are you doing fan base?
I was on fan base. Why did I stop doing fan base? Because I can't keep track of everything.
Yeah,
I was on fan base. I did have a place on fan base. So yes, I
yeah,
told you I'm everywhere.
everywhere. All right. Well, we will.
Oh, except TikTok. I'm not on TikTok anymore. Okay, that's it. Sorry.
Why aren't you on TikTok anymore? Is there something I should know?
I'm not on TikTok anymore because now the United States own it, and I just feel that this is another layer of them being in our business, and I'm just like, enough. I'm not gonna make it easier for you to be in my business. That's it.
So that's the whole concept right there. I'd like to get into the politics of with people in food as compared, like they do for the what is it, the barbershop. Just a
Mm-hmm.
panel of people where we can just talk, all of us foodies or food space people, but talk about how these connections have been changed since our current administration has come up. Yes, I'm talking about touching that third rail. That's right. And I'm probably going to call it third
It's
rail.
okay.
But anyway,
But
I'm Jerome.
thanks for having me on. I enjoyed this conversation with you. I really did. You made
Thank
me
you.
like pull stuff, pull
Yes,
stuff.
full stop. Yes, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's been a pleasure, and we out of here. Let's roll it.